Welcome to Lime with Us, where conversation has no boundaries. We go everywhere and anywhere. We'll take it any place, anytime. I am P, and that's Mr. 12 over there. What's good? What we
All
talking
right.
about today? What we talking
All
about?
right. So Obama calls out black men. So
Black what?
black men.
Black men?
Yeah.
You don't like niggas no more?
Well,
Don't trust them new ends over there.
ninja.
Uncle Ruckus type? Don't trust?
Yeah.
All right.
So this, I think, Obama coming out on the stomping grounds.
He's out
Let's watch the
campaigning,
video.
right?
Say it again.
He's out campaigning, right?
Yeah. So,
Okay.
like yesterday, we did look up and see that it's only about. So today makes it 22 days. So tomorrow is going to be 21 days. So 21 days before the U.S. election. So, Obama is hitting the stomping ground for Kamala Harris, and so we just kind of want to see what he says about calling out black men. So
All right.
let's hop
Yeah.
right into it.
Let's pop right in and get to it.
Ahead and just speak some truths, if you don't mind. Because my understanding, based on reports I'm getting from campaigns and communities, is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly and say that when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences, who's had to work harder and do more and overcome and achieves the second highest office in the land and is putting forward concrete proposals to directly address the things that are vital in our neighborhoods and our communities, from housing to making sure that our mothers and our fathers and our grandparents can afford medicine, and making sure that we are dealing with prices that are too high and rents that are too high, and are committed to making sure that we maintain the Affordable Care Act so everybody's got help and cares about things like education and entrepreneurship in our neighborhoods. And that's on one side. And on the other side, you have someone who has consistently shown disregard, not just for the communities, but for you as a person. And you're thinking about sitting out? But, because Pookie might be. And you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. I've got a problem with that. Because part of it makes me think, I'm speaking to men directly, part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that. And so now you're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you because you think that's a sign of strength, because that's what being a man is, putting women down. That's not acceptable. That's not it. This shouldn't even be a question.
Okay.
With the blood clot. With the blood clot.
So let's start out, right? So it's always good to see President Obama. You know what I'm saying? I voted for him. So what I was gonna say is, I'll go up front and I say this one up front. I think I'm one of the people that he's talking to, because I don't think I'm one of those people that might sit out, because check this out, right? And these are my thoughts. I'm not going into any politics, right? One hand, I'm not a Trump supporter at all, right? On the other hand, I don't think that the new administration or the Kamala Harris mentioned anything to support like black men or minorities in general. If you listen and you go check out the policies, it doesn't clearly, they call names by names. I'm going to choose my words because I'm on YouTube. Every demographics that they talk about, they call out by name. They call out certain communities. They call out immigrants, right? And I don't see, as a citizen of the United States of America, they say what they're going to specifically do for black men or minorities. And they're changing the words of minorities. You know what I'm saying? So their wording, you got to pay attention to their wording. I'm not telling anybody how to vote. I'm just saying, I know, I watch news. When they're talking about certain demographic, they say it. It's like this. When they're talking to black people, they say black people. When they talk about regular folks, they just talk. They not including certain demographics, you know. So speaking specifically, they've been calling names in their policies. They call names in their policy. As for the other side, like he said, he just lists all of the stuff that Trump said, you know. And but it's like, I'm torn, you know. I think America should be first. I don't think the administration been putting Americans first. So that's my thoughts. So I think he was speaking to me in some ways and form, where I probably might sit this one out on a chair, you know what I'm saying? Because either way, none of them ain't gonna change my life. What do you think, Pete? I got my rant out.
You understand? I'm sure he understands. There was a question I was going to ask you, but
Go for it.
you had so much going there. I forgot what it was.
I had to censor it, Pete. I had to censor it.
You said that you didn't. I'm trying to remember what you said early on when you first started talking. You threw me off.
Yeah, I see you switch the screen fast. He was like, PSA announcements. I'm not in it.
Yeah, I mean, no. I mean, I understand what you mean. I mean, when it comes to political views, everyone has their own views.
Yeah.
And what your view is. And I don't vote. I'm not a citizen, so I don't vote. But the way he's looking at it is the alternative is worse, because what we, like, you who follow politics, we who follow some of this stuff, understand what Trump is trying to do if he gets back in office. So what he's basically saying is the alternative is so bad that even if you don't vote, you're just not you're basically voting for him. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like one of those things where people understand. It's almost like damn, I don't even want to talk about that because I don't want to take too political, but it's kind of like
Yeah.
the stuff going on overseas in Israel and Palestine and stuff like that, right? Some of these people want the administration to
To
condemn
be a
what
part.
they're
Yeah.
doing, right? But if they don't, they won't endorse Kamala, right? However, if Trump wins, he already talking about wiping them out.
Uh, I-
You know what I'm saying?
but it's like this.
Like
I
he's what's his it Netanyahu Netanyahu. They're
yeah, I
like
get you.
this. They're like, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of one of those things where you're looking at it and like, yo, if you support the other person, y'all gonna be gone.
I get you. I get you.
So you
And
know what I'm saying?
that's why I alluded to the fact that I'm not a Trump supporter, but on the other hand, it's like this. Both parties have something where you want halfway and halfway you don't want.
So well, here's the thing. After Roe v. Wade got changed, switched around, I think all cards. What's that?
Lime.
What's that?
Lime juice.
Lime. Lime. But yeah, after Roe v. Wade got switched over, everything got thrown off the table.
Okay.
That's when everything got switched. It was like, yo, you playing chess, nigga? It was that's kind of what happened. And when you was like, yo, if he get his way, he's trying to do what other people have done in other countries. He's trying
So
to
I got a
change.
question for you.
Go ahead.
Do you think he was calling out black men in that instant? You get the closing argument. You get the closing
Yeah,
argument.
of course. He was he was basically calling them out, but at the same time, they got every right to be upset. No, I'm not saying they're wrong for not trusting in the administration. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, everyone has their right.
Mm-hmm.
But he needs to figure out why. Why aren't black men voting for her because she's black? Like that's supposed to be an automatic thing. Everybody know in the hood, Tyrone is cool. So we
Pookie. He
all
said
voting
Pookie.
for Tyrone. All
Yeah.
of a sudden, everybody on the train except you. Yo, what's going on with Mr. 12? Why he ain't voting for Tyrone? Yo, man, Tyrone did his girl back in the day. Oh, okay, that's personal. But why we ain't voting for her instead of trying to bullying people into doing it? Like he's trying to grandpa us. You know
I
what I'm
get
saying?
you.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like, okay, there's a lot of people that are into politics and watch it all the time, and there's a lot of people that don't give a crap. They
Yeah.
just go out and vote whatever they see. They may go, oh yeah, I heard this guy's good, and they'll vote. There's a lot of that stuff going on. So he's kind of talking to the people that's really involved all the time.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, the ones that's gonna vote for the other guy, that's kind of who he's talking to. The person that's not gonna vote is still gonna hurt, but it's not gonna hurt as much if they voted for the other guy.
He was talking to two. He was talking to the ones who are considered voting and the ones who considered sitting out. That's what he said.
Right, right. That's what I'm saying. But they're voting for the other guy. They're
No, 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 no.
none of
So
them
there,
are voting for her. He's talking because this has been a talking topic, and we've heard Donald say it. Oh, I have the black men vote, but he has the older black men. He has the I want to say 30 to maybe
yeah,
50
yeah.
somewhere in there. But the millenniums, fuck them cats is on the different shit. They on
Right.
that. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of them bastards too.
So what I wanted to clarify was when in that instance when he's talking to two demographics. I'm assuming one is the ones that are considering voting for Trump, and the ones that are considering not participating in voting, right?
Right,
One
right.
thing I wanted to say was I don't have a problem with her if she's black. I don't have no problem with that. I'm happy to see that, she's in the race. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy to
Mhm.
see, but I've grown wiser and understand we don't vote for people because of the color of their skin. We vote
Right,
for
right.
policy. You know what I'm saying? And
Because
if go ahead.
no, I was gonna say I look at it as I don't want Trump back in there. I don't give a fuck if it's a rock. Like, bro, if I'm dead serious, man. Like that dude is like, tell me one thing he's won at.
He's won at. Well, I
Yeah,
can't speak
all
for
his
Trump because I'm
businesses.
not a Trump
Yeah,
supporter. I don't have any facts to support nor deny. So that's not a question for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep it 100. That's
yo,
why I said my options is probably the couch. So that's why I felt like
oh,
Obama was
JD
speaking to
Vance
me.
loved the couch.
Huh?
I said his vice president mate loves the couch, but that's another
So
story.
but what I was alluding to is like I think being a little bit wiser, being a little bit older,
Uh-huh.
they got to do better. We're not the same. I said I'm not the same as when I was 20.
So let
You
me ask
just
you a question. Let me ask you a question.
uh,
So you're not the first person I heard mention that the agendas don't include black people. Doesn't say anything about black people, or does it have to be? And what would you want it to be if there was? What would you want addressed?
what? All right. So I don't really want to get into much hard stuff, but
We're already here.
when they speak and when they're talking,
Hmm.
they have outlines exactly for certain communities, exactly what they want. So if you're gonna be specific for a certain demographic of people, be specific for the others. Because guess what? When they handing out a bill or they're passing a bill, right? They're passing a bill for certain, like certain things. Um, I'm just being modest in what I'm explaining, but I just want to say is like, hey, if they ain't mentioning you, that don't mean they're not gonna do anything for you. They can be doing something, but let's be honest. Before you vote, you should know clearly what you're voting for. For right now, I don't see a clear outline. P is like this. We're gonna buy a house. If they don't tell us what's in that house, you know what I'm saying, before you buy it, guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna have buyer's remorse after you get it. And after you get it, you can't return that junk. So guess what? When you go to buy a house, you make sure, hey, you test the septic, make sure that thing, you make sure the windows, you make sure you do all your necessary check before you spend and you invest. You just don't run out and buy a house and be like, oh, where are all the pipes for? Where are all the pipes? They got raided 2 weeks ago. They came and cut out everything. Oh, y'all ain't telling me? Oh, no, no, no. So that means you gotta spend and rewire the house and redo the plumbing. You're gonna feel cheated. So before you vote, you need to be informed. You need to make sure you got all your facts. If they don't have anything for us laid out,
So whatever happened to being an American? Like the first thing you hear a lot of black people talk about is I'm independent. I don't
ooh,
need help. I don't need to be why we just can't be equal, why we can't be this. But the minute they don't get some free shit, people start complaining. Like me personally, I understand what you're saying, but at some point we either see ourselves as immigrants or we see ourselves as Americans. Now, I haven't read any of that information to know what's what and where's where, like when, what, if, what, who gets what. But I know we're part of this pie,
Society.
the
Hmm.
pie chart. We're in there somewhere, and I'm in America, and I know that shit's gonna work out. Even though I'm a black Tibigonian living abroad, but I don't think it's gonna be to the point where I could say, "Oh, it's gonna hit shit fan. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be horrible. It's gonna be some of the worst things that we ever gonna go through." No, it's gonna work out to the point where we're Americans, and I don't think you're gonna be like, "Oh, they have a better plan for that community." Now, a lot of that is because of the communities we already have now. Why certain people get things. Now, the delegates in the community are the ones that go and find out what we need.
Hmm.
We got mayors, we got what they
Hmm.
call them. That's what these people are for. And if
Hmm.
they all doing their job, your community good, you really part of America.
Nope.
And I
Nope.
don't I
Nope.
don't
Nope.
see it because
Nope. Nope.
you think
Nope.
about it, we all mixed up over the country, right?
True.
It ain't like everybody's everywhere. So the other part of the question I asked you was, what would you want done? Like if you could see one thing in the policy to benefit black people other than building houses and having affordable for people, what would it be?
Well, my pockets versus other people pockets is different. So one thing someone told me when I was younger, you got to vote on your pockets because we're all in different class, right?
Right.
So we can't just look at like all black people the same. You get what I'm saying? So when we talk, even though like that's a talking point, right?
Hmm.
Me personally, I don't think that they're putting America first. I'll be honest. I don't think they put in America first. When we came to America and we set out here, you know what I'm saying? We couldn't do certain things as a both as a immigrant and both as a citizen. It's like this. If you look and you see the money that they're spending, like they're spending, they talking about who Ukraine, they spending on immigrants. Yo, it was heartening to see some of the stuff like when people say, "Oh, they don't have any money for the storm," even though I don't know if that was misinformation or true, whatever.
It was
But
misinformation.
some of it, but you know what I'm
No, it
saying, like
all
that.
was.
That's what I'm saying. So,
I debunk it all.
yep. So we want to make sure that hey, if something go down, we got the funds. You know what I'm
We
saying?
always got the funds, but they
But
got
think
to go
about it.
back to Congress in order to pass more money.
Exactly, and that's I agree with that. That's what I'm
And
saying.
that's what I was telling you. It's like FEMA gets a certain amount of money from the government for the year for these disasters. So if the like right now, they actually named how much disasters they were dealing with. It's like
Yeah.
32. They don't just don't deal with hurricanes, they deal with other national disasters through the year. But you get hit with a few of these and they could pile up fast.
Hmm.
So
I understand. I
Congress
understand.
they got to get back in to allocate more money.
Yeah, I understand. I
Okay?
was just trying to simplify it. We speak offline. We know
But yeah,
we know
there's a
how it
lot of
goes. Yeah,
misinformation out there.
yeah, and that's why I
A lot.
phrased it like
And
that.
another thing I wanted to say that we need to put in one of these streams is all the governors that they spoke to of the states are all Republican governors. And all of them said FEMA's doing a good job. Everything's good. They got everything they need. So you're like, is it just one Karen that's making a TikTok video of people? Because that's what it kind of seems it is like sometimes. Because if the governor, a Republican governor, is saying, "Yo, we got everything we need. They've been helping everything. Everything's cool," and you got the citizens saying, "No, we need a lot of help." Something ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Either the governor's lying or the people are lying. You know what I'm saying? But somebody ain't happy. You know what I'm saying? And
Exactly. And you can never, and let's allude to this and we wrap up in that in this section,
yeah,
right?
and that's what
What
pissed me off. Like, is it real? Because if it's real, we really want to know if it's real. Because here's the thing, like, a lot of disinformation lead to people not filing or checking on their own. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like,
yeah.
you hear say that, oh, this is going on, and instead of try to call up for yourself, they get
Hmm.
that bad
Due
information
diligence.
and
Yeah.
don't, right. And that's the stuff that pissed me off, because I've heard of people that pretty much almost starved to death because FEMA brought food for people for the storms and shit, and they were told like, yo, you got to pay for this and pay. No, it's free shit. You know what I mean? Because FEMA's job is to come in, make sure they secure life, give you food the last few days or whatever, give you a new place to stay till they figure out your living ability, and then they move on to the next disaster. You fill out a slip, the government goes send you a check and tell you what you're gonna get, and
I
that's
get
how they
you.
usually work. But in this new era, people, they seem to forget and think that everything is now. You know what I'm
Yeah, I
saying?
get
I'm
you.
gonna get this shit now. No, man, no, you gotta wait. That's how normal shit is. I don't give a crap if you got a $3 million home. You still gotta
Mhm.
wait 6 months, just like the dude that got a $400,000 home.
I get you. I
You
get
know what
you.
I'm saying?
I wasn't going to go that route. That's not my route. I was going to go, but I understand. I understand where you were going, and it makes sense, right? I get you, right? That
Yeah.
all of that makes sense, but it's just certain things that don't sit right with me. Knowing that I know a little bit more. One is basically U.S. being first. We put in U.S. first. The way how we're spending. I think.
You say spending, I see investment.
Well, yeah, well, investment spending, all of that stuff.
I
Um,
mean, at the end of the day, you're 100% right. None of that shit benefits us. None of
yeah,
it.
and that's how I feel. That's why I said it's like this. I don't. It's like this. If I vote, I don't vote. It ain't gonna help me. You know what I'm saying? I always felt like that. So it's like because it's like this. One thing you got to do and really to protect your community, you got to do more than vote. You got to be involved in your community. You got to know
Yeah,
your aldermans. You got to know who
not
you got to do.
necessarily.
Well,
I
it
think you
helps.
just start out by knowing your neighbors, and
Well,
that's pretty much.
the reason why I said that because over the couple years, like I know the people in my neighborhood, and they know the aldermans, and they know people here. Yo, I'll be honest. On this side of town where I live, the people that's voting do come out.
Yeah.
They come to my door and they speak to me. I'm like shocked. On the other side of town, where the other houses is like, yo, they come out, but you don't really see them. But on this side of town, they come to the door, they knock, you talk to them,
Well,
you
that's the
get to
thing.
understand who they are.
They know people that's votes. They know the registry. They know,
True.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they have that list.
So and that's why I said the aldermen and those people, and you get to know them. They're cool. They say, hey, reach out if you got a problem. Neighborhood watch. So I already know I'm not just babbling and yapping and talking about. I want to make sure that hey, I participate in my community. I want my
Yeah.
communities to be safe. I want to make sure we know when we go vote, what we're voting for, because like some of the stuff that's happening, we don't know what's going on.
So
We
let me
don't.
ask you something. You ever thought about running?
Hell no.
Why
I don't
not?
got time for that, player. I'm a better engineer. I rather engineer stuff to make the world
But
become
you
better.
never know. What if that's your calling to run for office?
No, my calling is being an engineer. I already invested my life into it. So,
That don't mean nothing. Tampon. Yeah, I ain't gonna say it.
but I get you. I get you. My
You know what
my
I'm
my
saying?
main thing is to focus, and
I'll be a
it's like me. I
VP.
like to teach. I like
I
to
come off
teach.
the couch and be a VP.
Yeah, that probably your calling, but I prefer to teach people my skill set and designing and computer aided drafting. I prefer to share that with people, and we could go into the segue. What is CAD? That's my other
But
channel.
it's still all teaching at the end of
Yeah,
the
it's all
day.
teaching. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, you never stop teaching. That's
Yeah.
part of the what it is. But
So we call it there.
yeah, we go back on the Obama, and I'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
But leave Obama alone. He was doing his thing.
Yeah. I didn't feel any way about it.
He was grandfathering us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, if you feel like you want to vote for Trump, you want your shit.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And yo, just in closing.
It is what it is.
In closing, hear what I'm gonna say. Voting is your choice. You choose who you want to vote for. You go if you want to sit on the couch, you sit on the couch. If you want to vote for the party that of your choice, go vote for the party. You know what I'm saying? We rock with both sides. We rock with Republicans and Democrats because at the end of the day, when you after it's done, you go to that football game. The dude that voted Trump is right next to you, and you balling go Jets. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, leave my Jets alone, man.
I just plug your Jets. That's what I'm saying.